Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Flames News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, for these videos, Justin joins me on these. How's it going?
I'm doing well. The Flames maybe getting back on track. I wouldn't say that. They're still at the bottom of the league as we're
Yeah.
recording, but they did get a win. I believe on Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember which day it was, but they did get a win. So who knows? Maybe they'll get away from the basement.
Yeah, they are last in the Western Conference right now, tied for last. And it's not with the San Jose Sharks, which is very interesting. The Sharks have actually been playing pretty well. So yeah, the Flames, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's lots of stuff going around for the Flames with rumors for trades and stuff. We'll talk about that later on. But we're going to talk about the most recent development, and that's Zayne Parekh staying with the Calgary Flames. Started the season with them. He's now played 10 games. So now that first year of his entry-level contract is going to be burned. It doesn't matter what they do. They could send him back to junior. I mean, it's happened before with some players where they send him back halfway through the season. But for the most part, I mean, a lot of the time they do stay. So was this the right move? I know there was a lot of talk about, is this right for a guy like this to be playing for a team that's going to be losing for most of the season? Or is it good for him to go back to a team that's going to be really good in junior and for him to be in a winning environment? Was this the right move, him staying in the NHL?
I'm a believer that if you are too good for a league, you shouldn't be playing in that league unless it's the NHL. If you're too good for the NHL, well, that's a good thing. But Parekh, too good for juniors. And I don't think he can go to the AHL. So
No.
it's NHL. And I mean, I think it's good for him to, learn in the NHL. Again, there's nothing to learn at the junior level. He's already mastered it. And even the AHL level, when he's eligible, I still think he's too good for that league too. So it's best to figure things out in the NHL in my eyes. And even though Calgary's losing, I'll take that over learning really nothing. You learn things when you're in the NHL in a challenging environment, and that is good for players. I can't speak to it. I haven't been in the NHL, but I think it's good for him. And it's good for fans as well. He's a very fun player. Just watching that development path, see how he grows.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, 107 points last season, final year in junior. That's insane for a defenseman. He has nothing more to gain playing the OHL, and 96 points before that. I agree. He's too good for there. He best to learn the NHL. He's actually not doing bad either. He's got an assist in the 10 games. I mean, he's obviously not to the level of what he's capable of, I think. But he's also an even and plus minus. So, I mean, on a team that's allowing a lot of goals, he's looking pretty good. I mean, as much as you can say with plus minus, I mean, I know a lot of people don't really take that, but it's still a stat that does show that you're not on the ice when a goal is scored. So I think he's better off playing in the NHL, even if it is on a team that might not be winning too much. I mean, at this point, they're not. But I mean, there's so many young players that are playing for teams that are losing, and you just deal with it. And you're going to be a big part of the team in the future. And I agree with them keeping him because he's looked pretty good. And at least the games I've seen, he's looked fine. I haven't had anything against how he's played. So I agree with the move. All right. One guy that's not, I mean, Matt Coronato, he is one of their best players, was one of their best players last season. He had his first 20-goal season. He has 3 goals this season. He was a healthy scratch against the Rangers, very surprisingly. Is this a concern for fans, or should they be concerned about Coronato's slow start? Probably contributing to why they're not winning, because he was a big part of why they were winning games last season.
Maybe. So at the start of the season, I thought he looked pretty good, but obviously just hasn't. You expect the next step, and you expect on an offense that hasn't been performing well, a guy like that to step up to be kind of a key first-line player. It just hasn't been the case so far. So it's a little concerning, I would say. but at the same time, still fairly young. We'll see what happens from here. But yeah, just not encouraging, especially when you still need help offensively, youth wise.
Mhm.
This is not a rebuilding team, but you're trying to accumulate young assets. And this is one of those players that you're hoping can be a long term contributor. And you want to see guys like that step up. And to be healthy scratch, this is not a great look. So
Mhm.
we'll see if he can turn it around though.
For sure. And the thing is, like, everyone knows, watch Prospect Corner. I love Matt Coronato. I liked him when he was in his draft year. As he's moved up into the NHL, he's making me look really good. For I wrote his draft, I'm pretty sure I wrote his prospect profile, and I also had him in my top 10 in my last rankings when last I did rankings. So yeah, I hope he does turn it around, because why the Flames? Everyone's saying, well, they might do the same thing as last season because they believe in what they have. And the thing is, some of their players aren't stepping up to that level they were last season. That's why they're struggling. They didn't bring anything new. They didn't bring any improvements. They were just hoping that the guys they had were just going to take an extra step, or at least play how they were. And right now there's a few guys that are in that boat. It's not just Coronato. There's a few players that are like, yeah, you need to step up, that's why the team's struggling right now. And Wolf is not able to bail them out as much as he was last season, which is a good thing to go into the next one. And that is Dustin Wolf. He is a great goaltender, but they're playing him way too much. He hasn't played just 2 games of the Flames, the games they've played. So 12 of the 14, he's started. So, I mean, this is probably a Captain Obvious, but are they overplaying him? And should they kind of rein him in and start playing coolly, or at least get a goaltender they're more confident in the backup position?
This is pretty unusual for the last, I'd say, 20, maybe 15, 20 years to play a goalie this much. He's on pace for over 70 games.
Mm.
That's a lot, especially for a sophomore goalie who started the season off pretty slow. He is their MVP though, so it makes sense why they're depending on him and they want him to play as much as possible. But I would like to see them give him a little bit of a rest at least at this stage of the season. He's deserving. I would say that. Again, their MVP last year. He is still their best player, even though it was a rough start. Maybe turning it around a little bit now, but you never want to see a goalie start that much, especially nowadays, since it's very unprecedented. I can't imagine that continues like this level of starts, but you've seen goalies in the past, in the recent past. Karel Vejmelka in Utah, he was playing basically every game for them down the stretch for like the last maybe 30 or so games. And overall, he played less than 60 games in the season. So there are just stretches for teams that they depend on their goalie and then they calm down a bit and then maybe ramp up. It's inconsistent. I don't think that this will continue, but if it does, we'll see how he handles it. I mean, I would say he's the ultimate decider of if I can handle it, I'll let coach know. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I think part of it too is that they don't have confidence in their backup goaltender. I mean, Cooley. It's hard to say. I mean, he's played only 2 games, and then relief appearance, I believe, in a couple, maybe even it might just be 1. I know he played against the Predators after Wolf allowed 3 goals on 11 shots. So I mean, it's something that I think they need to start thinking about and not playing him as much, because I mean, there are goalies that can handle it. Like you say, I mean, UC Saros in Nashville plays a ton. Connor Hellebuck plays a ton. I think Saros has played most of their games too, but he's used to it. He's played that. He's done that in the past. So it's very early in Wolf's career to think that he can handle all this right now. I mean, like you said, they might have talked to him. It's like, are you good? Are you fine to, keep doing? So, I mean, we don't know that, but I think they are overplaying him. It's just crazy that he's on pace for over 70 games this season. And now, if he was lights out every game, I might have a different, opinion, but he hasn't been. He hasn't been that good either. So I think keep him rested, especially if you're thinking you might make the playoffs, because he's going to be super tired, you'd think, by that point. All right, let's finish off with some trade talk, because these two guys have been in the trade rumors probably since the beginning of the season. I know Andersson even went into the offseason. I think Kadri did too, but these two guys are most likely going to be talked about right up until the trade deadline, or depending on who gets traded first. But who do you see getting traded this sooner?
I would say that Kadri's a little bit more important to the Flames' success. I know they obviously haven't had it this season, but that is an important player for them in the locker room and on the ice. Rasmus Andersson, he is a very important player for them, but they're kind of, you have Parekh and you have Uyghur. He can play left and right, but again, you have two guys there on the right side that can kind of fill that void. If you trade Andersson, it makes sense for both parties, I think, to kind of part ways. It seems kind of inevitable that this is a move that's going to happen, whereas Kadri, I think maybe you can wait a little bit longer. Again, we won't know for sure until we know, but I would lean Andersson. I think the Flames want to keep Kadri as long as possible, even if they finish in the basement, hypothetically. That's a guy you kind of want to keep for until his contract is almost up or a few more years up. It was a 7-year deal, so
yeah,
still some term on that one.
For sure. And there's been the rumors, especially I think it's ramped up since it became known that it's a 13-team no trade list rather than a full no trade clause. So now it's just 13 teams he won't be trade. He can veto a trade, I guess, too, rather than everyone that he can say if he wants to or not. So this is something that I think maybe ramped up it a bit, but I know he's at $9.99 for games, right? His next game is be his 1,000th game, and they said that they're not getting, if there's a trade, he's not getting traded before that 1,000th game. So now, after he plays that 1,000th, everyone's gonna be like, okay, we'll see if it happens now. But there's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be involved with both these guys, and we'll see either one gets traded, because teams are gonna be lining up for both of them because they're both really solid guys that can help a lot of teams. All right. Well, thanks, Justin, for coming on, talking the Flames, and as they continue their season. We'll be back next week or whenever. There's probably next week on another Flames video, but you should check out everything at thehockeyroast.com. We got all the articles and I'll recap all those fun stuff at the site, also the Substack, and all of our other videos on the YouTube channel. But until our next one, we will see you next time.